3 months ago, I planted 6 of these bright pink peanut seeds. Did you know that peanuts technically are not a nut? They grow underground and are part of the legume family like peas and lentils. I planted these peanuts in the hopes of making my own peanut butter, but I think I'm going to need more than 6 plants. I need about 540 peanuts just to make one 340 gram jar of peanut butter. So as you can see, these plants are not looking great, so I've got no choice but to harvest them today. To harvest these peanuts, I'm going to be mostly using my hands and then this small little garden fork so as not to damage the plants and stems. The peanut growth cycle is a funny and fascinating thing. The peanut plant flowers, and once pollinated, the petals fall off, leaving a peanut ovary behind. This ovary then enlarges, growing away from the plant and back towards the ground, forming a peg. The peanut then grows at the end of this peg. So this is the part of the plant that I'll be trying not to damage as I dig them up. Once I've harvested all the peanuts, I'll be sharing 5 tips that I've learned along this peanut journey. Put a comment down below on how many peanuts you think I'll be able to harvest this season. I'm thinking around about 120 would be my guess. Peanuts are a tropical and subtropical loving plant. I read a really sad article that highlighted that even though Queensland has ideal conditions to grow peanuts, which is where we live, and they do, Australia still import around 70%. That is nuts! I believe this is largely due to climate change and the lower rainfall over the years. Wow, that was a pretty good harvest for my very first time growing peanuts. And as promised, I will share my 5 tips that I have learned throughout this journey with you so that you don't make some of the mistakes that I made. Number 1, peanuts need between 120 and 160 days of growing season, and you need to start them in summer. Number 2, don't overwater your plants. They only need a good soaking at least once a week. This otherwise could bring mold and rot to your actual pods, and we don't want that. Number 3, once your plant starts to flower and pegs start to develop, start mounding up your plant like you would a potato, as the pegs then bury themselves in ground. Number 4, once your leaves start yellowing, it's time to start harvesting. You really don't want to leave your pods in the ground for too long. Number 5 is around fertilizing. Peanuts actually generate their own nitrogen, so you've got to be really careful on the type of fertilizer that you use. I didn't actually use any fertilizer, and I'm now starting to question. But just be careful on that nitrogen. And a little bonus tip for you. It's something I actually did not do, and that was you need to stop watering your plants at least 2 weeks before your planned harvesting date. The pods need to start drying out in the soil before you actually start pulling them out. Okay, I thought let's crack open one of the ones that fell off their peg and see what they look like inside. This one has actually not fully filled out the entire pod, which is actually what we're looking for. But I can see that one of the little peanuts has already started to form that sort of papery shell that we all know and love. So these peanuts are still going to need to be cured for at least 2 to 3 weeks before I can actually roast them. They need to be stored in a cool, dry area that they've got enough circulation to properly dry out the shells, the pods. I hope you have enjoyed this peanut journey with me, and consider planting them next season. They are so easy to grow. I think the only thing I might change is plant way more, so that when I do not perhaps yield as much as anticipated on one of the plants, I've got backups.